Boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Drive Through Math. In this one, we're going to go ahead and talk about the Pythagorean theorem and how to find the length of the hypotenuse. Now, let's talk about what a hypotenuse is. Well, in a right triangle, we can find the length of any one side as long as we're giving two of the sides. Now, the two smaller sides, like in this example, the 15 and the 8 yards, those are what we call the legs of the right triangle because they're the shorter sides. The side directly across from the right angle, that's what we call the hypotenuse. All right? So now that we know that this one right here, where the c is, the variable, is the hypotenuse, we're going to go ahead and plug that into our Pythagorean theorem formula. And that formula is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now a and b, we substitute those with the leg lengths. And the legs, remember, are the two shorter sides. And C is where the hypotenuse length goes. So we're going to go ahead and substitute what we know from the problem. We have 8 squared plus 15 squared, and that's going to be equal to C squared. Now, it doesn't matter which one you pick for the leg A or leg B. At the end of the day, you're just adding them together anyways. So solve what you can. So 8 to the power of 2, that's going to be equal to 64. And 15 to the power of 2 is 225. And all of that is going to be equal to c squared. Now 64 plus 225, that's going to be equal to 289. Let me write that in over here. And so 289 is equal to c squared, but we don't want to know what c squared is. We want to know what c is. So we gotta get rid of that little variable over here on the top right. And we do that by finding the square root of both sides, because what we do to one side, we do to the other. Once you do the square root of c squared, you get rid of that square. And then you have to just find the square root of 289. And that, boys and girls, is going to be 17. So 17 is equal to c. All right, plug that in. Move on to the next one. Okay, so start by writing off the Pythagorean theorem, the formula. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Plug in what you know from the problem. We know legs a and b. So we have 6 squared plus 8 squared. Again, remember, it doesn't matter which one's leg a or leg b because of the commutative property of addition. You can interchange those two. But we do know that added together, their sum is equal to c squared. Now, 6 squared is going to be equal to 6 times 6, which is 36. And 8 squared is 64. We add those two together, it's going to be equal to c squared. So 36 plus 64 is 100. 100 is equal to c squared. And to get rid of that exponent of a 2, we find the square root of both sides, because what we do to one side, we do to the other on an equation. So these cancel out, and the square root of 100 is 10. So 10 is equal to c. And there you have it. That's how you find the length of the hypotenuse in a right triangle using the Pythagorean theorem given two side lengths.